Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. You know, what I'm holding my hands right here isn't just a busted drive shaft, it's a potential disaster. As you can see, this folded up drive shaft has some humongous cracks in it. This thing was on its way to breaking into two pieces, and who knows what kind of destruction it could have done at that point. I've actually suffered this problem, and it happened to me while I was sitting in a car in a chassis dyno. We achieved a certain speed, the drive shaft flew up from under the car in multiple pieces, and none of us really knew what happened. You, on the other hand, do. We got Greg Frick here from Inland Empire Driveline Service. Greg, what caused the drive shaft of my wimpy little streetcar to fail, and what caused that big one to fail as well?
Drive shafts fail in this particular fashion because of critical speed. Critical speed is a number that represents that sound. That's a natural frequency. Drive shafts have them too. That are all different frequencies.
So you're basically saying when we achieve that frequency, this drive shaft almost, for lack of a better term, turns into a jump rope.
It first becomes a jump rope, then it turns into an S, and then it becomes a W and departs the car.
So your job at Inland Empire Driveline Service is to come up with solutions for people who want to either upgrade or maintain a level of safety in their car. So in terms of process, what is that?
What we do is you can modify the critical speed by the diameter of the tubing you're using, and it is a function of diameter and length. So at some point, regardless of how big a diameter you make it, say 5 inches, you will end up with that kind of a problem. When you get to about 60 inches long overall, should be thinking in terms of a two-piece shaft like we have for the 58 to 64 Chevys.
So being able to move to a two-piece, you're basically taking all of that length and kind of breaking it into halves, correct?
Yes, you just support it in the middle. So now you got two smaller jump ropes, and it's harder for them to start throwing their centers out and going into all these funny shapes.
And in terms of applications, there's a lot more that need this kind of engineering than just a racing application.
The critical speed issue has gotten more common as we have more sophisticated engine management systems and electronically controlled transmissions. The shafts are getting pretty long from the OEM, and they do just fine in the original configuration. You put a chip in, you change the rear end gear ratio, all of a sudden you can be in the critical speed range.
And part of building a great drive shaft goes into, one, the material. We talked about, the thickness and diameter, but also processes like the balancing of the drive shaft.
Balance is still a important part. Nobody buys wheels and tires without getting their wheel and tire balance. This is a yoke used in a Viper, for instance. You see how much metal we had to grind off of this thing just to get it to balance?
Pretty wild. Also, I'm looking down here and seeing some differences in U-joints. Now, you guys deal exclusively, I believe, with Spicer. That's a company that's been around 100 plus years, one of the best names in universal joints out there, but why am I looking at different sizes down here?
Spicer publishes specifications where they think that their parts should be used. We use Spicer's 1310. This is 1350. Obviously, they're bigger in 1350, but the operative thing is this trunnion diameter. We use 1310 for 500 horsepower street tires on the street, and 1350 for everything else.
And when you say everything else, Inland Empire Driveline Service, you're dealing not only with drag racers, you're talking about circle track racers, guys that are running on dirt and asphalt, off-road, and they all kind of have their own specific needs. When someone goes to the website, where are we going to find you on the internet?
iedls.com.
Can they get information on the site, or is it better for them to call you directly as far as the technical specs for their car?
Both. Go to the website, go in the education zone, read the powertrain setup guide, get informed about what you're doing with your project, then call us. We want to talk to you because your car is unique. It's different than anybody else's, and we know how to get you to mention the nitrous button.
Well, thanks, Greg. You know, this is more than just a performance issue. It's obviously a safety issue. If you have a drive shaft failure, it can be very devastating, not only to your car, but to you personally. Talk to the guys at Inland Empire Driveline Service for whatever your application. They'll find something that fits your needs, and we'll fit your needs when we come back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Dustless Blasting.